Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Here we are. Good morning.
Here we are. We're almost over with October.
October's almost gone. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Halloween's just about
Boats
here.
are all coming out of the water. Beers are going in.
That's right.
Sectionals have started.
Yeah,
it's getting there.
Yeah, football sectionals are going
Yeah.
on. Basketball. My son just wrapped up. Football had his last game on Monday of this week, so he's a freshman. So he is now done with football. Gearing up for basketball. We got Thanksgiving right around the corner.
Thanksgiving's coming.
And this is the time that the market tends to slow down.
It does. It tends to slow a little bit. You hit, the end of October, November, and why is that, right? Holidays. Who wants to be out looking at houses before Thanksgiving or over Thanksgiving? Christmas is coming, which is crazy. 2 months away. Here we are. So it tends to slow down, but I guess the whole thought process for me is if you're thinking about buying, well, you should have started thinking 6 months or a year ago.
But we're several months away from like the ramp up of 2021.
Right.
So if you're thinking about buying, now is a good time to start planning.
Get ready. Get that planning done. And what does that really mean? Get your credit in order. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is, unless you're paying cash, if you're going to have to get financing, having your credit straight, knowing where you're at with your credit is an important piece.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, even though, there's a lot of advertisements on TV, creditkarma.com, all these things. It's very easy to get your credit score, to know where your credit score is. And the bottom line, that's where you should start. Even if you're not buying a house, getting your credit straight is an important thing. Mm-hmm. It impacts the rates that you pay for insurance, for car insurance. Mm-hmm. And when you go to get a mortgage, it's definitely going to impact the rate that you get for your mortgage, for your homeowner's insurance.
Sure.
So your credit score impacts a lot of things, and again, this isn't Alder Bergen. I'm not talking about financial planning with people, but having your credit in order is a huge piece. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people just don't think about that. So if you're getting ready to buy a house, what typically happens is, hey, I'm ready to buy a house, let's go. Well, right. What's our first step? Well, you need to get pre-approved. And what's one of the first steps in that pre-approval is they're going to pull your credit. Mm-hmm. So if you know that you've got, maybe some past issues with your credit and you need to get those resolved, why not start working on them now? Mm-hmm. So that you're ready when the peak selling season comes on, which starts, you get into March, April next year, that's when there's going to be a lot more homes. Now, again, if you're going to buy today or you need to buy today, I'm not saying, you can't do that. But the fact is, being ready, being prepared, and having a good understanding of your credit score, it's not just about buying a house, it's a good overall financial life plan, I guess. So, again, that's Mark, the accounting professor, Mark, the old guy that's, experienced a lot of things through time. Having good credit will help you long term with whatever you're doing, whether it's buying a house, whether it's buying a car, buying life insurance, buying, insurance for this, that, or the other thing. A good credit score is going to be very helpful.
But a lot of people don't know who to call, to work on that.
Sure. So, and I hate to use Google, but that's one of them, but Google, mm-hmm. There's 3 credit reporting agencies.
Right.
You can always, annually, you can get a credit report from them for free. And that's federally mandated, and each of them has a different process. Some make
with all 3.
Correct.
Okay, and so I've got passwords. I've got username and passwords.
Right.
So I can go in and I can, turn on my credit or whatever.
Right.
Shut it down so nobody can use credit against my name. Okay.
Right.
And most people don't do that.
No, they don't. And it's funny. This during the pandemic, I'm an employee of myself.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, as an employer, I get notice that my employee, me, signed for unemployment benefits.
Oh, really?
So it was unemployment fraud, that's going on. And somehow or another, they had my name spelled incorrectly.
Wow.
They had a different email address, but they had somehow or another used my social security number. So I went through all of those steps to freeze my credit to all of those things. Now, fortunately, nothing's happened. Mm-hmm. But, it's just weird. You don't know where people get this stuff. But again, my name was totally misspelled. But they were associated with a social security number. And if I had not called
Yeah.
the state and said, hey, this is fraud.
Right.
And of course, they sent me to the, you need to contact these. All of those things I did.
Yeah.
But your identity is important. So identity theft, is a big issue, especially in today. There's I say folks that are sitting out there just thinking of ways, how can I get something for nothing?
Yeah.
So protecting your identity, protecting your credit, and ensuring that you have good credit is important. It's an important life skill. You need to make sure that all of that stuff is taken care of. So ultimately, whatever purchase you're making, however you're doing things, having a good credit score is going to be helpful long term.
And then that mortgage originator from a local lender, they can help you navigate through that stuff as well.
Absolutely. They will guide you through the process to get your score up if you need to. And, we always start with get that pre-approval. A lot of people, the things we're just talking about, hey, step number 1.1, I guess I would say is, if you're thinking about buying a house, reach out to an agent. And the agent can put you in touch with a person who can help you with that.
Right, because they're talking to these people every single day.
We're not experts on it. That's why we defer you to the experts.
Right.
But they'll put you in touch with a local lender and help guide you along the way. It's in their best interest to help you get to the point where you can buy a house.
And then really, that way you know what ballpark you're playing in. You know the price range of the house. All right, we're going to talk more about this. Come up here next. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time.
Did it cut off?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
So you have to do a little editing.
Okay. Did you start it again?
He got a phone call in the middle of the recording.
And I had do not disturb on it, so I'm surprised.
So I hit decline.
And it killed the video?
And it stopped the video.
Okay.
So then I restarted it as soon as possible.
So
you just have to do a little finesse.
No worries.
Well, we can just do a recap. I mean,
iMovie is good.
Yeah,
I can edit it.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty easy. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No worries.
All right. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and we're talking about the steps and the process. If you're thinking about buying a house, you want to start early.
Yeah, start early, get your credit score, all of those things we just talked about. Why not?
Credit score, contact an agent.
Yep.
Talk to a mortgage originator because they're going to be able to help navigate you through, like if you have any credit blemishes or anything like that, they're going to be able to help you, work through those things.
Right, because ultimately what you're trying to do is get to that pre-approval.
Yeah.
Right, so you know how much you're, going to be approved for, what type of financing, all of those things. That's what you're looking for from that lender. So the lender will, guide you through those steps. They'll guide you through whatever the loan program is. They'll advise you on, hey, these are the reason that it's the best program for you. A lot of times we get calls from folks, hey, I want to go USDA financing. Well, have you talked to a lender? No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So it's 100% financing. That's what they want to do. Well, if they're a veteran, there's another option. You can do a VA loan. Maybe their credit score is not good enough to where you can get a USDA loan. And again, those aren't things that we know all the details on. That's why we ask you to reach out to a lender. We'll guide you to lenders that work, in that realm. If your credit score is less than optimal, there are certain lenders that specialize in that, right? I mean,
Sure.
So there's lenders that can help you. There's other lenders that, they may have a program, but it's not really their, sweet spot. And everybody's got a different area where they specialize or to where they're really good at.
Right.
But if you get out on the fringes, they may not have as much experience in that. So, again, if you're thinking about buying, reach out to an agent early in the process. They can help you get your credit, guide you to some agencies to get your credit score, all of those things, put you in touch with a lender, and help you get to the point to where you can buy. It isn't like it's got to happen today.
Right.
Right? It isn't like it has to happen today. Now, if you're ready today, if your score's good, all those things, and you're ready, hallelujah, we'll help you buy a house today. But if we know it's going to take longer, they can help guide you through those processes.
And that's why you said in the beginning of this show that you want to start the process early,
right?
So you can work through this stuff because sometimes it does take time.
Sometimes it comes up. There could be things that you're not even aware of. Now it's amazing to me that you would not be aware of it, but they do title search. Some title companies do title search on the buyers, and if there's something that comes up that needs to be resolved, it needs to be resolved.
Yeah,
having more time to take care of it is better than hey, we're getting ready to close next week. By the way, this just came up.
Well, like what you said before the break was that somebody tried some identity theft using your name.
Right. I would have never known.
You would have never have known if the credit bureau didn't reach out to you.
Correct. I would have not have known that. That's something that happened. There's nefarious characters everywhere. Right. And they're looking to take advantage of you. So it's not like, hey, I'm running scared. I know I'm not going to live my life. But make sure that you've taken the steps to protect your identity, because ultimately it'll impact your credit score. Monitor it, all of those things.
Okay.
So, along with that, if you're thinking about buying a house in the future, and this all goes back to credit score, hold off on significant purchases.
Yeah.
It's not time to go buy a brand new car if you're thinking you're going to buy a house.
Right.
Now, again,
it affects your credit.
It impacts your credit. Now, some people, again, if you've got an 840 credit score and you've got a lot of money in the bank, and generally older folks, they've got more established credit and all of those things, buying a car is probably not going to impact your credit score too bad. But if you're one of those folks who are just starting out, or you've never bought a house, or your credit's, borderline, you make these large purchases, and you're going to drive your credit score down, which ultimately the lender is going to pull your credit just prior to closing. So, you're all hipped up, hey, I'm buying a house. What usually happens, people run out and they do 90 days same as cash and buy furniture.
Yeah, because they want it for the house that they're about ready to buy.
That they are not going to buy now.
Because
if you're borderline.
Right.
Because that is credit. Even though you're not paying for it today and it's 90 days same as cash, it is still credit, and it's going to show up on your credit report.
Yeah.
So hold off on large purchases. Don't buy a boat. Don't buy a car. Don't buy, big ticket items if you're in the process of getting ready to buy a house. Now, again, this is general, information. There may be folks that it's not going to impact at all. They've got enough assets. They've got enough, cash reserves. They've got all of that stuff. It's not going to impact them at all. Live your life. Go to it. But if you're concerned at all, before you make that purchase, talk to your loan officer and say, hey, is this going to impact me in buying a house?
Well, because if you're paying, say, $750 a month in rent, and then you think, and this house is only going to cost me $750. Well, the bank is looking at it from a different angle. They're looking at it, the cost you're going to spend per month, but they're also looking at maintenance and everything else involved in buying a property, a house.
Absolutely. So, I guess the bottom line for all of this stuff, and we'll continue this over the next couple of weeks, talking about getting ready to purchase, but I think you have to have a baseline, and that baseline is your credit score. So that is the first thing, if you're considering buying a home, is to get a good idea of where your credit is today. And if you need to make some improvements to that, then what are the steps to make those improvements? If you're already ready to go, then let's go buy a house. It's the fall of the year. It's a great time. Interest rates are fantastic, which is what everybody's talking about. And, they're expected to continue, but who knows? We got an election coming up. You don't know how that's going to impact all of these things. If you're ready today to buy, we'd be happy to help you buy.
Yeah, and this time of the year, those people that are out looking, they're more serious about, because this is when the market does slow down, but that means that agents have more time to go out and and go through the process.
You got it. We're available, ready, willing, and able to help if you need us.
All right, got to go. So what's your contact information?
So lakes-realtors.com, phone numbers 574-834-1233. As I started mentioning a bit ago, don't forget to check us out on YouTube.
All right, yes. Yeah, definitely do that. All right, you've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.